We currently have a vote of 1 to 1.
God damn it!
Unanimous vote is me!
Heather, don't fuck it up!
Cast the deciding vote to evict between Kyle and Jamie.
They fucked up, they fucked up, they fucked up, they fucked up.
I have come into this house to win. I've said it from the beginning. I'm here to play my game.
Is it a ceremony without it?
I'm sorry, Jamie.
She didn't fuck it up.
Way to go, girl.
She's playing her game.
Play your game. Play your best game, Heather.
It cracks.
Oh! Shane, can we rewind that?
What?
He went like this. He went like this to Jalen. He went like this to Jalen. He went, and then he just walked past
Oh,
him.
bitch! He didn't even stand up for me!
Shady, I know.
Bitch! Bitch!
And with that, you're the final four.
It was really hard. I'll start with that because like Jamie has been there for me this entire game. And I kept hoping he would come to me for a final two, and I was gonna probably choose him in the end. But then it got brought up of like, could I actually win if I was up against him? It was like probably one of the hardest things I have done in my actual life, not just like this game. Because we had a lot of talks of, you know, we don't want to hurt people's feelings. You come close, and I just hope he knows it wasn't against. It was a strategic move of if I want to continue to go, like I gotta get a strong player out.
I definitely feel like I could beat Heather, even though it's impossible. A lot of people feel like she had a harder road. I don't feel that she really played the game. It was more so like, oh, it's your game, and people just felt her as not really a threat, and it got her there. So, you know, I feel like she'll get up there to the finals and be like, hey, I played my game, you played yours. I'm here, you're not. And I feel like I have points that'll validate why I should win against Heather. Kyle as well. I feel like Kyle played more of ball and chain role. Like he was more of like Jamie's ball and chain, or even Tim's ball and chain at times. It was like other people was making those moves and he was just going along with it more so as a number.
Hello, house guests. All the likes and followers in the world won't be able to help you in this comp. Good old-fashioned heart, soul, and upper body strength are required to help you in this comp. The name of this competition is Do You Even Lift, Bro? You'll be presented with a ball and a set of cans, which we will be donating to a local food bank immediately after the competition. The goal of this competition is to hold your ball between your cans for the required amount of time. Drop your ball and you're canceled, like Matt Lauer, Roseanne Barr, and Carbs. In round 2, you'll add an extra can, making the competition harder. The last house guest, without dropping their ball, will be crowned head of household. Now let's play. Do you even lift, bro?
Everybody, please lift. This competition begins in 3, 2, 1, begin. We'll hold this for 5 minutes. Coming into this comp, I didn't feel the most confident. Just less than 12 hours ago, I was lasting in a similar competition that involved arm strength for over an hour and 45 minutes. So coming into this, I just wasn't in the best spirits, and I knew that this was kind of important to HOH, but you know, all I could do is try my best. Do I even look like I lift, bro?
Well, I'm still here, so that's a great news. Somehow my social game from the beginning of this game may be keeping me in, because a lot of things have happened. I haven't gotten the chance to talk to a lot of people. However, in the end, I'm still here. And I'm very proud of myself. It's been a wild ride. The HOH competition was another endurance competition, and I'm gonna win it. Clearly I'm not the best at those.
Kyle, you've been eliminated from the competition. All right, I guess you may put your cans down. Jalen, you are the new head of household.
In a simple endurance competition, I suck at endurance, and so I was really worried. The good part is that I didn't have to lift my hand for an hour and a half last night, so I'm sure that came into play to kind of help me out a little bit. I knew that Kyle dropped really early, and then Lance was trying to cut deals, which meant to me that he was feeling a little uncomfortable physically and how hard he can last in that challenge. It's Final Four HOH. I'm not throwing any competitions. I never have, I never will. Point blank, end the period.
I'm just saying, it's just like in this game, honestly, like a lot of my ideas have been put on the back burner a lot of times, and I've did things in the best interest for a group scenario or for like like when certain of your allies and things of that nature, like, and when it came down to points where you needed to show like 100% loyalty at times, it varied. Jalen is kind of in everyone's way for winning the game. He has a total of 4 vetoes, 2 HOHs. He has established himself as not being afraid to get blood on his hands, not being afraid to make moves, but it also could paint people the wrong way. So I know me personally, I have a good relationship with him. I don't feel like he would cut me, but when in a week where it's all that comes into play is veto, that's what's all running through my mind. So, you know, I feel like it's nothing more left in this game that I can sit there and talk to you about. We're all playing for ourselves at this point. It was fun, you know, being an ally with you, having a good time with you. But when it comes down to it, you have to sit back and think, like, can I win against these people? Like, if you have to do what you gotta do, you know, at the end of the day, on the jury, you're a vote for me. I'm a vote for you, I'm saying. So if at that point you feel like just to save face with maybe other jurors, he has to cut me, it's gonna be fine. I'm just saying. Like,
I'm not gonna, it's not even a thought in my mind.
Lance is like, no, my ride or die, and he was just feeling he was just like acting very weird, and I think he's just feeling very uncomfortable because things haven't been going his path. We all had to kind of have pocket people where like he had Jessica, I had Heather, and Jamie had Kyle, and he was kind of frustrated why Jessica had to go first and not Kyle or not this person. And at the end of the day, I feel like it was final 6, and the people who win the competitions have decided pretty much the route of this game.
And what is your thought process? I think you would win the final HOH.
Oh, if I won the final HOH, I mean, if it was between you and Lance, I would definitely pick you. If it was between you and Heather, I'd still probably would pick you. The question is, would I want to go to the end with Jalen? He says people hate him, and I bet people are a little bit upset about him. However, he has played an amazing game. He's won a lot of competitions. Lance has voted to keep a bunch of people who went home, and I think he let them know that. However, I think they all know that my social game is the best part of my game, and social game really helps win you votes.
Yeah. It's Final Four. Do you care if I nominate you?
No. Honestly, it really doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't matter at all.
Me and Jalen, we've had final 2 for a while. I'm starting to get a little nervous and hoping that he doesn't back out on that, knowing that he can play some shady moves. But I also have to have faith in something, and I feel like I've played a very, very honest game, and he hasn't. So I'm hoping that because I've been straightforward and very honest, and I have had a great social game, like I'm not gonna lie, and I'm hoping that I feel like the only person that I crossed was Jamie at this moment, and if it was me and Jalen, obviously he hates Jalen. He wouldn't pick him, he would pick me.
This is the nomination ceremony. One of my duties as head of household is to nominate 2 housemates for eviction. I'll be pulling 1 key today because it's final 4 and there's only 3 of y'all and 2 of you wants to go up. So I just kind of pick someone, and the best person won in the veto. The person that is safe in final 4 HOH is Lance. Heather and Kyle, I have nominated both of you because it's final 4 HOH.
Oh, I'm so hurt.
Yeah, good luck in veto.
6 times on the block.
Jalen puts up me and Heather. I knew that was gonna happen. Even though the nominations don't really matter, I knew he wasn't going to put up Lance just because that might upset him. All that really matters is the veto competition. I won last time when I needed to win, and I'm gonna have to do it this time.
Hello, Heather.
Hello.
The final Power of Veto competition is here. And with so little time left, what a great time to reflect on what's happened in this game so far. Nowadays, instead of pulling out the Dusty family photo album, it's easier to look at a social media timeline. Big Brother Columbus's Twitter timeline has exploded with activity, and you need to put the remaining tweets in order again. You will take 10 tweets and arrange them from top to bottom, with the top tweet being the most recent tweet, and the bottom tweet being the earliest tweet. The player that manages to assemble the timeline correctly in the shortest amount of time will win the Golden Power Veto.
Okay.
Do you have any questions? In 3, 2, 1, go.
Like legit, like every time I've had to make a big move in this game, I've done it. When I needed to win, I've won. told you I was here to play. Like legit, I was here to play. I got my game, you got your game. Do it.
So it's time for the most important veto of the season. I know I need to secure this veto to ensure that I give myself a ticket into the final three. It is the Instagram timeline, and it involves events that has happened throughout the game. The one I had the most problems with was one that mentioned avocado toast. I know we just mentioned avocado veto, but it also mentioned about a cafe, which in my week 2 HOH involved the cafe. So it kind of was like, is that older or newer?
I think that I've made so many people on the jury mad, and there's going to be a lot of bitter jurors towards me, but I'm hoping that I can swing a good portion of them who I know are game players and who could probably respect me winning and all these competitions and me never being nominated and me being risky from day one, and I'm trying to put them on the resume that I'm going to build.
My heart is racing, not just from running for a minute and a half. I'm not that bad at cardio. However, this is the Final Four veto and people are going to be playing hard for it. So I'm very nervous.
We're going for the first one. Second HOH. I really don't like it. 3.
I see a card and I know where it's going to place. I put it back up to 9. Then I see another one, it's about 1 or 2, put it down there, run back and forth.
Fish TV. That's 5, Layla, 1 back. This week we're going to fly halfway, that's the double, but the puzzles are starting to fit. That's 7, 5. If I can manage to channel my in Laurel. Heather one that's 10.
And I believe that I placed them all in a correct location, and before I have time to really double check, I press the button. I really want to win, and I don't think that I can if I don't do it fast enough.
Very good job to all of you. See you all working very hard. With a time of 133.15. And the only one to get all 10 correct. Kyle, you are the winner of this veto competition.
Oh my god!
2 vetoes. I'm not a comp flop. I can win when I need to, and all that's really left for me is to choose who I want to take to Final 3, and then I have to win the Final HOH competition.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, I didn't win that comp. My time, even if I would have got them all right, my time was horrible as fuck. Kyle slayed that veto. I feel me and Kyle didn't make the best connection throughout the game, so I feel like I was an easy vote out. And I honestly had sat around and moped a little bit and realized like, hey, this might be the end of my game, and I might be becoming the 4th place Rob Goddess of BBCOL6. But it's like this trigger just kicked off in my mind. And I realized, like, Lance, you are the Bayou King, for crying out loud. And you're gonna sit there and let a veto be the let that take you out of the game.
You know, I don't know if you're up for it, but I would love to make a final two, which I can promise you that I will cut Jalen. If I sit next to Jalen, you sit next to Jalen, it's 9 out of 10, neither one of us can win the game. You know, I don't know where your head is.
Now that I won the veto, I have to make one of the most important decisions of the game. I have to decide whether to evict Heather or to evict Lance. Immediately I thought I was going to evict Lance. It seemed like the best move on paper. How would I know that you're telling the truth, that you would take
Look, no crossing. Look me. I can look you straight in your eyes. On my mother, if I win final HOH, I will cut Jalen. Me and you will sit at the end on that stage at the club, and if I lose, I'll be happy to lose to you. I promise you.
So I talked to Lance, and he pitched the best pitch that I have heard in this game. He looked very genuine, and he told me, I will keep you if I win final HOH.
That's my plea, and I swear to you, like, if you do make this happen, I can promise you 100% a final two. You want me to shake on it? I swear on it. I can promise you I will cut Jalen. Like, I'm looking you in your eyes and telling you that.
Yeah.
Up until this point, I did not set up a final two with anyone. So I told Kyle, I was like, I swear on my mother, who is one of the most important people in my life, that I want to sit at the final two with you. At that point, I feel like me and Kyle was playing a very parallel game, and that my game just had to be expressed if we would make the final two together.
Hello, and welcome to the veto meeting. I love this podium, but it brings so much power and stress. I and Heather have been nominated for eviction. Heather and I have won the veto. And there's no opportunity for me not to use this, really, so I will be using this on myself. And because I am off the block now, Lance, you are now on the block, and so Heather and Lance are on the block for eviction. And if you guys would like to tell me why you think I should keep you safe.
6 times the charm. I've said it 1.5 million times. I'm gonna say it one more time. Is I'm here to play my game. You're here to play your game. I would love to continue to play and play your game.
All right. I pretty much gave my spiel to you. You know how I feel about what's going on right now. I just want to let you know that everything I said is 100% genuine, and you make your decision basically solely on that.
This is an extremely difficult decision, clearly like the hardest one I've made all game. And I think the pros and cons are very similar. It's probably like a 4 to 5 vote or something like that. But I think the opportunity that gives me the choice that gives me the best opportunity to get to the end is evicting you, Heather. I'm so sorry.
No, thank you.
Heather, congratulations on making it to jury, making it to top 4. Girl, what is going on?
Oh, that was a ride for sure. I'm actually not completely surprised. I kind of felt like this was going to be a possibility because I did have a final 2 with Jalen, but I was starting to get nervous about that final 2. So you know, they have to play their game, and it's a game, and I'm actually not upset about it. Like, I made it Final Four.
Final Four.
The last female was on the block legitimately 6 times, and I lost the last time. So I cannot be upset at this point. Like, I fought very hard. I tried really hard, and that's Big Brother.
Yeah, that's Big Brother.
Yeah. So I'm okay. I'm really okay. I literally love everybody, and I'm not mad at anybody. I'm a little upset that I did make that big move. I needed to make that big move of getting rid of Jamie.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. So this game lacked a lot of big moves, so to speak.
I agree.
So you and Tim were really the first to take some shots at some of the bigger power players?
Yes.
How, like, what went through your mind that you just did it?
Jalen. Like, he really promised me a lot, and I had promises from Jamie, but I never had a final 2 offer, and I was looking for that. And so when the option came up, it was kind of like I had to take it. So yeah, I thought Jalen was gonna take me, but he wouldn't make an eye contact with me after he came in from Kyle in this last, so I knew it was going on. So.
Was there anyone in the house that you feel like you were the closest with throughout the entire game?
Jamie. And that's what it was hard. But he didn't offer me a final 2, and Jalen did, so I had to do it. So.
Hello, house guests. Congratulations to the final 3 on making it to the final Head of Household competition. This HOH competition will be played in 3 parts. The winner of the first part will advance to part 3, where they and the winner of part 2 will face off to determine the final Head of Household of this season. After the competition, the Head of Household will evict one of the remaining house guests, giving us our final member of the jury, as well as the final 2 house guests who will be voted on to determine the winner of Big Brother Columbus Season 6. For the first part of this Head of Household competition, you will be playing The Struggle is Real, and here's how it works. You will each need to retrieve a key to free yourself from your shackle. You will need to fish for the key using a magnet and string provided to you. However, your string and magnet have been encased in a chunk of ice, which you will need to melt in order to access your magnet. Once free, you will need to solve a jumbled phrase. The first player to hit the buzzer and correctly speak the hidden phrase will win this first part Head of Household competition. I hope you're ready, house guests, because the competition starts now. 3, 2, 1, go.
reputation in the millennial generation?
Correct.
Got it.
Hey millennials, I'm hosting the Head of Household competition again. You've come a long way in this path to victory. If you looked at a before snap, would you even recognize yourself? Let's get right onto it. This competition is called Before and After, and here's how it works. I will read a question involving 2 events. You must determine if event A occurred before or after event B. Pay attention to the wording of the question. Your answer will be before or after. Are there any questions? Good! So let's begin. Alright. In going viral, was Kristen infected before or after Tim? Thank you. The correct answer is before. During Survivor Week, did Kristen and Becca finish their portion of the immunity challenge before or after Jamie and Jalen finished their portion? Reset. You both got it correct. Was the first unanimous eviction vote before or after top 5 vines? Answers? Both got it correct. Was a house guest evicted by a 6-1 vote before or after Heather won her first competition? Answers? You're both correct. Reset. Excluding the tribal council, was one of the Quattro Queens, Heather and Kristen, evicted before or after a total of 51 votes to evict had been passed? Answers? You're both incorrect. The answer is before. Was a blender delivered before or after sunscreen on the fish list? The answer is before. You both got it correct. Lance, you are the winner. Congratulations.
Hello! You are competing in the 3rd part of the final HOH competition. The winner of this competition will be crowned the final HOH and will then choose who to take to the final 2, leaving the 3rd to join the jury as the last member. Speaking of the jury, my heart and own, we are going to play a game called Jury Statements. I'm going to read the first half of a statement that each juror makes. I will then finish that first half of the phrase with 2 options. One of them is the rest of the phrase and is true. The other one is, we'll call it a gotcha. Misleads you. Are there any questions? Good. Let's begin jury statements. So Tay, our first evictee. Tay says, my most memorable part of being in the house was A, being backdoored by Jalen, or B, playing in the Survivor Week. Answers, please. Let us find out what Tay had to say.
My most memorable part about being in the house was being backdoored by Jalen.
Isn't this fun? Oh. That was our second victory. She says, my biggest regret of the game is A, not being aggressive enough, or B, not working with who I wanted to. Answers, please. Let's find out.
I think my biggest regret of the game is maybe not being aggressive enough with what I wanted to do. However, I am happy with the way I played my game, and I think as a first-time player, I did what I set out to do. And maybe next time, I can be a little bit more aggressive and see what happens.
All right, Layla, our third evictee, she says, my biggest regret about the game is A, winning HOH, or B, playing. Answers, please. And let's find out what she had to say.
My biggest regret about the game is playing.
Thank you, Layla. Moving on, Kristen, our first and original block babe. She says, the one thing I regret most about the game is A, not drinking more water, or B, not drinking more wine. Answers, please.
The one thing I regret most about the game is not drinking more water.
All right, moving on to Tim. Jen says, my biggest accomplishment in the game is A, lasting past week 1, or B, being unanimously evicted. Answers, please.
My biggest accomplishment in the game was being the only person to be unanimously evicted.
Jessica says, my favorite house guest is A, Lance, or B, Jamie. Jessica, let us know.
Okay, my favorite house guest would have to be Jamie Boots.
All right, speaking of Jamie Boots, he says, my favorite moment in the house was A, watching Heather walking to the jury, or B, getting Tori out. Answers, please.
My favorite moment in the house was watching Heather walk into the jury being evicted by the person that she saved over me.
Heather says, my favorite moment in the house was A, being the last Buckeye left in the game, or B, having all the personal conversations. Answers, please.
My favorite moment in the house was having all the personal conversations with people.
Well, of course it comes down to this. We have a tie.
Oh my god. Yes, I suck. That's why I was
I got two right.
Two right.
So, please pull back up your paddles. How many yellow squares were on the Pixel Panic board? A few moments to think. All right, I'm gonna need an answer, house guest. There we go. Jayla? Okay, that's an 18. All right, we have a winner. Congratulations, Jayla. There were 26, you voted 18, and Lance had 13. And that's it, that's the final competition.
I won the final HOH, and so I have to make a last eviction. But before I do so, I want to give both of you guys just one last opportunity to tell me why I should keep you safe or not evict you. And so we'll start with Lance.
Jalen, it was definitely fun playing with you from the moment we got into this house. And outside of things, you are an amazing person. It was fun working with you through certain rounds. You know, we may not always have been on the same page with certain things, but our minds was in the same direction. Honestly, you are a game player and you know what's best for you. I honestly would love to be sitting in the final two. If you feel that's good enough for you, with me sitting next to you, that you have the ability to win, do that. If not, do what's best for you as a game player.
Kyle? You're an amazing person. I'm so glad I got to meet you. We've had our ups and downs and ups in this game, and I think that's hilarious, and it's made such a great weekend, and I'd love to be in the final two with you, and I respect anything you do, and no matter what, I still would love to be good friends.
We've all fought so hard to be the final three, and I've played this game very logically and very what I feel is best for my game after thinking everything, and I vote to evict Kyle.
third to last to walk out.
Kyle, congratulations on making it to the final 3.
Thank you. It was one of my goals, but my other goal was to win.
I can imagine. So you made it to top 3. What happened that we are heading to jury right now?
So, I mean, I think I was on a pretty low, I was on a bad route at Final 7, and I really came back from that. But I think the reason that I stayed so long is the reason that I went home. I am pretty confident I would have won if Jalen took me, because the strategy that I went with was to befriend most people. I did have to turn behind some people. Anyway, I am the biggest social threat, I think, in the house, and that isn't what he wants to go against, especially since he has backstabbed a lot of people. I was hoping he would take me and I would be the Sandra to his Russell Hantz. He better at competitions, more of a villain, and I was trying to get him out the entire time, and it didn't work, and he might have taken me, not thinking I could win, and because of that I could win, just like Sandra.
Who would you say was your biggest ally in the house?
So that is a question. The one that I worked with and talked to the most for the longest was Jamie. However, I never fully trusted him. Since day one, he kind of seemed like he knew what he was doing and he knew how to get it. Luckily, I got myself so that he told me a lot of information. He told me, of course, what he wanted to tell me and not everything, and I knew that. The person that I worked with wasn't very long, however, I felt most trustworthy with was Tim, and that was only for about a week because we weren't that close before I took him off the block, and then after that, we were on the block together, and we kind of bonded because of that and because I saved him.
We are pulling up to the jury house now. Is there any final thoughts you have?
I mean, I'm excited to get the jury experience. I was just talking about that, how I thought it'd be cool to get everything, but it's impossible. I'm getting the jury experience and not the final 2 experience, but I think it'll be fun.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, and really looking forward to jury.
I think I'm most nervous about the final reckoning. I consider it as kind of like, because these people, we honestly, like when they walk out those doors, we don't know these people's emotions, and until they get their closure, they're never going to get their ending to their story. And I'm just hoping and praying that everyone understand that the moves that had to be made.
Obviously, there's like a nervousness, but it's more of like this is what we've been working to be at, and it's kind of like, let's go. Like, we're gonna get dragged, we're gonna get called out on a lot of things. People are not gonna be happy with us, people are gonna be supporting us. There's gonna be so many mixed emotions at the finale, and it's kind of like you just have to be ready for it and embrace it.
Definitely open to all the questions. I'm excited to see what people's perspective on my game is, and all I can really do is explain my game to the best of my ability, and that it's enough to be awarded the prize.
All right, we're about there, so I'm going to wish you both the best of luck.
Thanks so much, Julie.
Penny, yeah, see you at the finale. If you'd like to enter the room, please.
again, Kyle.
Thank you. No offense, everybody. All right, man. Cheers to Final Two. Let the jurors, the fans, their crowd. Let's give them a show. At the end of the day, we played good games. We're sitting here, and one of us will be walking out of here $500 richer. And the winner of Big Brother COL6. Let's go! Cheers again.
All right. Please join me in welcoming our final two. First, we have Mr. Jalen Roach. And then King Lance Richard himself. Alright, so we have very important business to attend to. We will start with opening statements. We'll start with our final HOH. Jalen, if you'd like to go to that microphone and make a statement.
I break down Big Brother into the social, physical, and strategic aspect of this game. And coming into this game, you have to come in being very, very well-rounded in all of them in order to have a shot to win the game. And so every single moment I had, I took advantage of it. I came in playing really, really bold, from picking up the phone in the very, very beginning, earning safety that round, to digging through a pot at Tribal Council with both tribes watching, to find that immunity idol. Physically, I won 4 head of households and 4 power vetoes. Socially, I feel like I had really, really good relationships that allowed me to get to the end of the game without ever touching the nomination block. I was never nominated. Strategically, this is the part where it gets very, very tricky, because I looked at that last night laying in bed. I looked at what's my best option to get to the end of this game, and it's going to come down to making tough decisions that are going to hurt friendships, but ultimately I'm playing to win a game, and people are going to get hurt by that. And so I had to cut people at a certain point in time, like Jamie, like Jessica, in order for me to have the best option of getting to the end. And yes, I lied. That's Big Brother. Yes, every lie I had was very, very intentional, and I'm sure you guys are going to have a fun time dragging me, and I'm looking forward to hearing it. And so thank you all for being amazing house guests and for amazing jury, pre-jury, and thank you everyone for watching. Thank you to all the Julies for putting together an amazing game, and we can all never forget.
Hello, everyone. When I came into this game, I know that I'm a loud personality. I know that I want to come in here and get to know everyone on a personal level before I jump straight into game talk. I feel that each person that I sat here and worked with in this game got to know you personally before I even mentioned anything game. And there's many of you that I even had conversations with that have said that we never had a chance to get to know each other personally, so I just didn't feel that we can work together in the game. I'm a social player. I won 2 comps, 2 HOHs, but I feel like my social game spoke for itself. I was open to getting to know other people, but as well as remembering the outside connections that I previously had, and just strengthening those to get me further and further in the game. And when things wasn't working in my favor, I wouldn't get too flustered. I wouldn't get too mind-boggled about it. I would just have to exit myself from certain situations, sit down, talk to myself, and realize that it's just a game, snap out of it, get your shit together, and let's go. So, to the jury, I'm open to any questions you may have for me to explain my gameplay further to you guys, and that's all I have.
First of all, congratulations on making it this far. You both have played very great games. Lance, I love you, I've always loved you, but I do have one question for Jalen. It became more evident sitting in the jury house that your strategy is more of a game bot kind of mode. You take a lot of humanity out of what you do. And that's why when we had our jury roundtable, I was more emotionally hurt than anyone else. So I just have one question for you. Why did you decide to make my eviction personal, taking something I told you in confidence in the live feed and twisting it so I wasn't there to defend myself?
I don't know if you would want to go into more. I don't want to keep like re-explaining it. I honestly can't recall. I really, really am sorry if I hurt you on a personal level, because that's never my intention in this game. I thought you were a great person. I felt like a lot of our moments that we had were genuine and real. The reason why I didn't want to work with you further in the game is because you were after Lance and Jamie, which you told me multiple times, and you were threatened by them. And Lance and Jamie were both people in this game that I needed to keep safe.
So my question is for Lance, just to kind of get a feel more for your gameplay. When you came to me after Tay was voted out, were you actually someone that voted for Tay to stay, or were you just kind of playing, like trying to make sure that you stayed aligned with me during that time?
At that moment, I definitely was the only vote that voted with you to keep Tay. Tay wasn't somebody that I honestly wanted out of the game. Even if he was behind my back saying that he was coming for me or Jamie, I had made a really good personal relationship with Tay, and I felt that even though we were strategically on the same page and people started to feel that Tay was a calculated, observant, and would be a threat deep in the game, that I needed him in this game because I felt like in my heart that he would never put me up.
I'm not a vegan anymore. When I was up for eviction by one single vote, I was not to be evicted by one vote, if I may. Was that either of you gentlemen?
It was me. I had no idea you were getting voted out. That was a blindside.
This is for Lance. Lance, you put me up multiple times. You had reasoning, however, I thought it was all bullshit. So this last time, before I was evicted, you told me that the initial plan was to backdoor Heather. That obviously did not carry through. So how much of that was bullshit, and were you telling the truth?
Honestly, at that point in the game, I knew Heather was coming for me 100%. If Heather would have won any earlier HOH, Lance was going up on the block, no questions asked. So it honestly, my plan was originally to backdoor Heather. So it wasn't bullshit.
Congratulations to both of you. My question is for Jalen, actually. But I want to ask, what were conscious choices on your part to try and improve your social game, do jury management, try and ensure the votes, or try and get votes at the end of the game?
Yeah, I think from the very, very beginning there was a clear-cut division between who was going to be looked at as like the easy pawns and the easy players to nominate without much repercussion because people weren't necessarily scared of them. A lot of my HOHs, I never nominated the people that were continuously nominated because I genuinely care for those people and want to give them a shot at this game. And so that's kind of one thing socially that I did that was different than probably a lot of other people in this game. So yeah.
Thanks, good luck, you guys.
Okay, this is a weird sense of deja vu, but the tides might turn and history might not repeat itself this time. That might come.
You're strong. You can do it, Jess.
I love both of you so much. Both of you know that, so I have no questions.
Thank you, Jessica. First and foremost, Lance, nothing but respect. Absolutely. Loyalty, competition. Just because you didn't win the most doesn't mean you weren't in the top runnings for him. Just because every decision wasn't yours doesn't mean you weren't in the know. Your strategy and your social game far surpassed the person that was next to you. Alright, before I move on to Jalen, I think it's important to note, because I'm typically not the most bitter person, and I try to be a little bit of respectful. However, one person in this cast applied with me, and that was Jalen. One person in this cast spoke to me about everything in this game, and that was Jalen. So, in the effect that you decided to go ahead and backstab me, somebody that worked tirelessly to protect you from these people, I just have a couple things to say. First and foremost, you don't deserve to be there. Lance, Jessica, and myself got you there. Second of all, you don't deserve to win. The only thing you deserve is to have the taste slapped out of your mouth, and if I didn't have respect for Fancy and the rest of this cast and this production in general, and the fact that I got the opportunity to play this game, I would do it myself. Third of all, you claim to be a man of God, but you'll always be Judas to me. Thank you, Jamie. All right.
I think I'm just gonna make a statement at this point, as I know I've hurt particularly one person in this game, and I want them to be aware that I take that to heart and I know what I did. So, otherwise, both of you, I believe, played a very, very good game.
Lance, I know that I wronged you, but I did come to you to tell you that I did it, honestly. So, congratulations to both of you, and I hope nothing but the best.
Thank you, Heather. And now
So, I don't know how this is gonna go. I have not prepared anything. I just got evicted. Anyway, I believe what you said. And I also believe that if you would have gotten more than 2 questions right, then I would have won the game. What was your final thought process of the final 3 evicting me?
I thought that it was a mix of like personal relationship with Lance and also votes. And also kind of when I leave this game, I have to live with the decisions that I made. And so I just felt like personally, like this is a decision that I just in my gut felt to do. If I lose, I'm happy with the game I played. If I lost to either of you, I'd still be happy with the game I played. But
so I definitely think you made the right decision.
Last thing to say is congratulations to both of you again. This is a social game, this is a social experiment. I appreciate your gameplay immensely on both accounts. For me personally, this is also a game of respect. One of you I have the utmost respect for, the other one I'm okay if I never see again.
Mine is also based on like integrity and respect. The kind of gameplay that I feel like was somewhat similar to my own while also being respectfully different.
I am voting for the person against whom a lot of people have opinions about how he played the game, yet he's sitting up there in the finalist seat and we're not.
So I was asleep half the season. Or just heavily intoxicated. With that, I have no comment.
honestly, no hard feelings to either of you. Good luck.
My vote is for my winner of Big Brother Club Season 6.
Lance, I adore you. Judas, any 1 vote kiss for you is 1 vote too many.
I thought you both played a great game. That's my game is your game.
Thank you, Heather and Kyle. Close us out.
I did not have a large amount of time to think about this decision, but I'm voting for the person I think would make a notable end for my Big Brother Columbus journey.
All right. Thank you, Kyle. All the keys are in the cake, as we say.
The top 3 for America's Favorite Poll were Jamie, Lance, and Kyle. And with, I swear to God, 1,985 votes, Kyle
I'd like to thank my awkwardness for gaining me fans. Sometimes I just say things and people enjoy them.
Alright, let's do it. I'm gonna pull the keys in reverse eviction order because I feel like it.
I can't do it.
Kyle has voted for Jalen.
Wow.
Next we have Heather. She has voted for Jalen. Jamie. Let's take a poll. He voted for Lance. All right, next we have Jessica, and she voted for Lance. takes 5 votes to win. Our lovely Tim has voted for Lance. Next we have Kristen. She voted for Jalen. We're 6 votes and it's 3-3. Layla has voted for Jalen. Alright, we are at 4-3 in favor of Jalen. It takes 5 votes to win. We have 2 votes left. Becca has voted for Lance. Yep. It comes down to that last vote, and right now, Tay is the only person in the room that knows who this one is. Come on, and finally, Tay has voted for the next winner of Big Brother Columbus, Lance.
The Bayou King coming from the state of Louisiana, the South, and it's exciting. It was definitely a whirlwind. I'm excited to be in the Big Brother Cold Winners Club. Yes, and definitely to represent this season as a face for all these amazing people who has played the game. Jalen played an amazing game, and everyone on this jury and preacher has played an amazing game. Honestly, thank you all for watching us, enjoying us, and rooting us on through our good and our bad. Just thank y'all so much, and thank you, production, for everything. Congrats!